everybody. Welcome to the first episode of The Reckless Nerd. I am Frank Martinez, and I'm here with my good friend,
Stefanie Michele.
We're both really nerdy and love talking about all things nerds. We thought we'd make a podcast, and hence The Reckless Nerd. So yeah, that's it.
Here we are. Well, the first thing we're going to do, and we're going to try and open up every episode with nerd news. It's just going to kind of be the most recent events in kind of all the different nerd cultures. So one of the big things that was announced recently was about the PlayStation 5. Did you have any thoughts?
I have lots of thoughts about it, actually.
Absolutely.
I'm a huge PlayStation fan. I have been for a long time. I dabbled with Xbox. I definitely had the first Xbox and the 360. Haven't had anything past that, but I am excited in which ways both systems are going. The future of gaming is very interesting, as far as like it's always kind of been like consoles is its own thing and then PC is its own thing, and now the line is kind of starting to get blurred a little bit, like because essentially the consoles are more computer-esque. Like I was looking at all the specifications and everything that's coming out, and I'm like, dude, I'm basically buying another lab, gaming PC at this point.
I think I definitely grew up PlayStation, so I'm excited to see the
Mm-hmm.
Xbox 5. I saw like the possible mock-ups. I don't know how real they are for it. It looks really cool. I'm actually more excited about the Xbox Series X.
Really? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, don't get me wrong, it looks cool, and like, again, if they're the direction that they're going in, definitely Microsoft has more experience. I mean, not really, because excuse me, but Sony has been in the has their skin in the game too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting to see what's going to happen. PlayStation just announced, I believe yesterday, that they're going to have a new feature where you can instantly download previews of games and the game from the PlayStation Store. So it's not like you have to wait for the installation. You'd have to wait for everything to get downloaded and ready and set. No, as soon as you buy the game, it's available instantly. I don't really know how that works, but that sounds pretty cool. I mean, even on Steam, you still have to download the game and make sure it's good and installed before you get the chance to play it. So I don't know, kind of pumped for a lot of the possibilities.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I can't really, like I said, I only kind of recently fell in love with Xbox and it just kind of took over, but I don't know. I'm excited for both,
Yeah,
honestly.
no, it'll be cool. I think a race is definitely on. I think what's kind of cool is that like lately, I mean, the last few years, both companies really dabbled with like virtual playing. So like I know PlayStation, you can plug your computer or your controller into your computer and run like a virtual machine, so you can you don't have to have your PlayStation in front of you to play games, is what I'm getting at. And then same thing with Xbox, but Xbox is taking it a step further where you can actually play their games off of your phone or your tablet, so whatever device you have. So I'm waiting for PlayStation to kind of do their version of that, because Google Stadia, that's their whole thing. I don't know if you're familiar, but they launched a platform. Yeah, so earlier this year, or actually last year in December, they launched a platform where you don't need a console. It's all through, basically they used all the knowledge they had from having applications like Google Maps and Google Drive and how to host this, constant data going, and they were able to do a gaming service like that. I've tried it. They did this really cool thing now that everyone's in quarantine. They went ahead and gave everyone like a 2-month free trial.
Okay.
Now, my biggest issue with it was the fact that you have to have crazy fast internet. Like I have pretty good internet, and it still wasn't like I was freezing a lot. The controller would not always respond, or the game wouldn't respond to the controller right away as fast as I needed it to. So it definitely has a lot of good ideas behind it, and I mean, if they could get it down to where it's really a flawless to how it works, I think it's really the future of gaming. But until that comes out, I'm not really sure what's going to happen. So, but Team PlayStation all the way.
All right. Other big news was announced this week as well. There was also the new Star Wars movie information that came out this week.
Yeah, Taika Waititi, if I'm saying that correctly, because his name's so hard to
I
say.
I already said that. I want you to say it a different.
But they announced that he's going to be directing his own Star Wars movie, which
Yeah,
I'm so excited for, because like so far the things that he's done have been amazing that I know of. I mean, Thor Ragnarok was so good, and in such a
it
way that
was.
like we're so used to these Marvel movies being something a little more serious, and it was funny, it was exciting, it had mystery, it had everything you wanted, and so far everything this guy does, I mean, has been great. He was even a director on The Mandalorian for a couple episodes, like
I know the last episode for sure.
yeah. So it is pretty cool that uh he's out there doing stuff. Really excited for the possibilities he's going to bring to Star Wars. Because, like, for me, and I know this is going to get hate, and people they disagree with me on this all the time. But I also know there's a lot of people who like it. The Solo movie was
Yeah,
so good to me
I
because
liked
it
it.
was so different. Yeah, it was so different than the traditional Star Wars movie, and it opened the possibility for just everything from storytelling in the universe to visually, um, to how it can be diverse and different in so many different ways than we really have thought of before.
I liked it because it wasn't for okay, I like sci-fi, but I have so many
Yeah,
friends that don't like sci-fi.
yeah.
So making them watch Star Wars was near impossible. But getting them to sit down and watch Solo, because it was like it didn't feel like it didn't have the same feel at all.
Yeah, no, it was. Oh shit, it was. Yeah, I see. I hate having chords like this, um, but yeah, no, it was such a different feeling. Definitely, uh, in its own right, was a great Star Wars movie. And I mean, I even love the fact that, and like spoilers if you haven't watched it, but the ending was so not this Star Wars ending.
Yeah.
Like I did not expect her to take off without him, and then just be like, "Fuck it, dude. I'm sorry." Like it was. You see this sweeter side of Han Solo that we never really saw before,
Yeah.
and you kind of understand now why he's the man who he is, or was, I should say.
Well, and then okay, so on top of directing it, he's also going to be co-writing it with the writer of 1917, who I just blanked on her name.
Mhm.
And I'm excited to see how they mesh up.
Oh yeah, that'll be really interesting. I mean, 1917 was so crazy. I mean, everything, even again, visually, fucking phenomenal how they got some of those shots.
Oh, absolutely.
So it'll be definitely a mashup I'm looking forward to see, and yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Of course. Also, I saw that Disney's announcing that they're doing a new Star Wars series that's going to be coming out on Disney Plus.
Do we
So,
know what it's going to be pertaining to? Do they nothing? Just that
no,
I'm really glad because honestly, like Mandalorian is so good. Like
it is.
it's the thing is that like the latest trilogy reboot that they had wasn't good. It wasn't like it was what it is. I mean, but when you look at it all together, it's a mess.
Mhm.
And I like the fact that we were able, or they were able to get something out that was very precise and very um, put to put together. You know, I don't think there's a Mandalorian episode that I'm bored with or I felt like no, this didn't keep me on the adventure. And it'll be exciting to see something else that they do. I mean, I would even love to see like a droid series that
Yeah,
not necessarily like action, but like comedy or maybe a drama. Like, dude, like a soap opera style Star Wars TV show. I'd be so into it.
yeah.
So
It'd almost be like watching the Japanese soap operas.
yeah,
Here.
dude, yeah, exactly. They could have like a, a Star Wars Bachelor, and I would probably watch it.
Okay.
Like,
You might have crossed the line for me.
no, I would watch anything. I don't care. They could do like all kinds of weird shit up in Star Wars. I'd be all about it.
You know what? I feel like that opens doors that I'm not ready to go down.
Oh, probably not. I mean, they already made Star Wars pornos, so
No, I'm
have they?
very aware.
Have they not already crossed the line?
Actually, you want to know something funny?
Yeah.
My uncle directed that. You know which one I'm talking about,
No,
right?
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I mean, I only know of
The one in
one.
40-Year-Old Virgin?
What?
The one that he puts on in 40-Year-Old Virgin?
Oh, shut up. That's so freaking funny. That's awesome. That
Random
is.
facts. I tell you, like, I feel like every time I talk to you, I tell you like a random weird fact about my family.
Yeah, that's cool though. I'm into it.
Yeah. Okay. But so now that we've crossed the line in Star Wars, for me at least,
Yeah.
last piece of news that I wanted to touch with you was the Joe Exotic being cast by Nicolas Cage
Oh my
in
god.
a CBS series that they're it's like an eight episode series that they're going to be doing.
8 is not enough. Like, I know you haven't really dove in that far into Tiger King yet. Like,
That's another family story.
yeah, and just the fact, like, as it started off kind of like a joke, like people, oh, they're gonna do a live action version of Tiger King, and like, yeah, that would be cool. And then I was watching David Spade interview all the cast from
Yeah.
Tiger King and getting his, and he kept asking people, who would you want to play you? And Nick Cage didn't come up that I know of, but man, is that a good casting for Joe Exotic? I am.
I think David Spade should have done it.
Oh, that's what people were saying. Like they wanted David Spade to do it, and I think it would have been cool, but I don't know if I would have
Farmer
liked it as
versus
much.
Joe
I don't.
Dirt.
Well, no. I just think that the Nick Cage, he's so weird that it's gonna work well. Like it's gonna be the Joe Exotic I didn't know I really wanted until I found out about it, and now I'm like,
I'm
yeah, I
just
have to
hoping
have
it
that.
doesn't. I'm just hoping he doesn't ghostwriter it for
What do
me.
you wait? Well, he's
I
not
can't
writing it;
stand
he's just
ghostwriter.
acting in it.
I know. It's just, but like, there's certain people when you watch them in a role and you're just like, oh, it didn't meet what I needed out of a character I loved.
I mean, I get, but the thing is Joe. Joe is unique because he actually is a TV character.
Yeah,
So I
it's,
don't think
it's
it's gonna be
Nick Cage.
hard to
I don't
miss the
know.
mark.
I don't know.
Like I don't know. I'm a huge Nick Cage fan. I even watch his bad movies, and to me, it's something that like yeah, it's gonna be whether it's good or bad, it's gonna be something to watch for
Yeah,
sure.
well, I mean, Nicolas Cage does have things I love. Like, okay, I love National Treasure.
Mhm.
It is a national treasure.
Yeah,
Um,
fair enough.
Con Air, like, all about it. And
Yeah.
then he does things and I'm just like, oh,
How
why?
do you feel about Gone in 60 Seconds? It's gonna change your friendship depending on your answer.
I love that movie.
Okay.
He did not do bad, but I think it could have gone way better.
I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I liked everything about it. It was cool. It had mystery. He kept you on a cool like what
I
is it?
just
Like he's risking his life. Like he's
Yeah.
risking his whole like he was out and now they're bringing him back in. And even the villain that was kind of hokey had great lines. Like his last name in the movie was Rains, and the guy was like, "Well, what are we gonna do about rains?" He's like, "Well, when it rains, it fucking pours." I lost my shit when he said that. Like, great movie.
Like, no, I love that movie. It's a great movie.
Mhm.
I wanted to do so many things more to Cars after watching that movie,
Mhm.
but it just, yeah, I think somebody else could have done it. I think he plays characters that are way more confident than they should be. Like,
Yeah,
Gone in 60 Seconds, yes, he was a badass, but I still look at him and I feel like he'd be the guy that in a couple of years would be yelling at my kids to get off his lawn. Like, he doesn't, like, I don't know what it is about him.
yeah, he's different. I don't know. I hated him in Ghost Rider. I
Yeah,
know that.
that's what I said. I hope he doesn't ghostwriter this movie for me because it just
Oh,
goes,
that's what you meant. Like it was a
yeah,
reference to the movie. Sorry, I was like,
yeah, it
he's
was,
not writing it. Yeah, he that was bad. The only thing I liked about it is when he's doing the stunts on the freeway to get Ava Mendes, and then she's
mhm.
like, "Do you still like Italian?" So dumb, but I was like, Nick, you got me again, motherfucker. So
Like, but it's like, in what world would those two end up together?
yeah, he looks really old in the movie.
Yeah, and she's
It just
seven.
it's weird because like she's supposed to be really young, like like I mean I don't know, I think she's supposed to be like 25 or something, which is he did look bad in the movie. Like I was like,
Yeah,
what? Like yeah, you're right. It wasn't believable for him to get her in that. Like he was clearly a guy that was dyeing his hair to try to look younger. And yeah, I agree
I
with
think
that.
I saw some plugs. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's just he's not as attractive as the characters he plays.
No, that's fair. I think his acting ability is better than his
But
looks.
Con Air all fucking day.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, so we did have a main topic that we wanted to talk about
Mhm.
today, and that is pandemics, because of course it is everywhere right now. We are
Yeah.
in the midst of one, so I want to talk about how it's represented in culture, how it's affecting pop culture currently, and all those different kinds of things. So, what would you, when you go look at movies about pandemics, what is the movie that sticks out to you?
I think the first one is the most obvious choice.
Hmm.
Resident Evil.
Yeah.
100%. Like, I'm sorry, when this first came out, I was on board with them conspiracy theorists. I was like, those guys are covering it up. They're just trying to cover up the whole Taiwan thing. They're trying to kill him. Raccoon City is gonna happen. It's
All about the
crazy.
hardcore.
Like, yeah, we're gonna go. You're gonna try to go get some chicken from Stater Brothers, and then you're gonna see one person eating another person. So for me, that was the first like pandemic like movie that has to be talked about, especially because one, there's so many of like the franchise is fucking huge.
Well, yeah, because it doesn't just go into there. It also expands into video. Well, it started in
It
video
started
games.
in video games, yeah.
That
One of
was
the
some of
few
my
video
favorite.
game movies that has like done well outside of the realm of video games. Like, I mean, it's like that in Mortal Kombat, and Mortal Kombat's only good because of the cult following.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Mario Brothers movie, but it might.
I get it. Like, I mean, besides the fact that you
John
probably have a,
Leguizamo,
yeah, you have a crush on John Leguizamo. I get
just
it.
because everybody didn't know.
But I mean, they even like, I thought it was weird that they made it more about Luigi than Mario.
I loved it. I
I
mean, go back to previous
no,
statements.
when I was a kid, for sure, I was all about it. But you go back and rewatch it, and you're like, they made some strange choices, like you know, in the movie to represent this movie. And I get it. They were trying to fit that '90s dark edge format,
Yeah,
but it just was so weird
it
to
was.
like even down to like the Koopas. That was
I
weird.
love that, but I love the little bones.
There,
But we went down a rabbit hole.
yes, sorry,
We
yes.
did. No,
Back
it's
to
fine.
pandemics.
We definitely need to talk about John Leguizamo more in my life. It's cool. But pandemics, so yes, Resident Evil covered video games. It is, I think, the most seamless
Yeah,
between the two, definitely. And it builds this whole culture that you can get behind and characters that you root for.
it scares the shit out of me every time I try to play. I am the biggest scaredy cat. I don't care what anyone says, but it's great. I honestly wish, like, I don't know if you've gone to like Round One or Dave and Buster's recently, but they have like the House of the Dead games where you can actually sit inside now, and
Yeah,
it's like 4D, so like it reads your heart monitor and it like blows air on you, and then like
I've
it
seen
feels
that
like,
one. I've never seen where it reads your heart.
yeah, I went with Pablo, a friend of ours, and we went to Dave and Buster's, and they had one where you grab the gun and it reads your heart. It has a heart monitor on it, so you can see like if your heart's beating too fast because you're scared.
Fun fact, I actually went to round one when I lived in Japan
Oh, fucking cool!
before they were even here. Yeah, I know.
They're probably way better in Japan. I mean, don't get me wrong, Round One. I'm not throwing shade. Round One. You guys have one by my house, and I like you guys, but I would imagine the Japan ones are fucking
It was
crazy.
okay. So the one that there was, I want to say it was like 4 or 5 stories because first floor was like a bowling alley, and the next floor was like all karaoke bars, and then the next
Cool.
one was like video games, and then it was like pool and something else, and then the top was like batting cages and a bunch of like mock sports things. Yeah,
That's
and that was
super cool.
outside. So that was like the go-to date if you were dating somebody who had a car in Japan.
That's super interesting. That's crazy.
But
Uh,
pandemic,
yeah, pandemic wise. But yeah, and what for you? What's another franchise that
8 days later.
28 days later, a big one.
Yeah.
For me, that was like I I don't know. That was a really big zombie movie that really kind of again throughout the whole disease going around. You know, we don't know what it is, and it's just taking over people. And it was a great like the way it was filmed was amazing. It was great. You know, they did a really good job of capturing like kind of like that eye point of view level kind of thing.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because I'm just thinking about this right now. It's another movie in pandemics with zombies where they wake up in the middle of the like so many days into it. Like Walking
Yeah.
Dead does it. 20 Days Later does it. Even like all of these, they kind of wake up and they're stuck in the same place where we're finding out with the characters what the hell is going on. And it's kind of
Yeah.
like, I was like, wait, they all just woke up and we're in the middle of it, like even Walking Dead with Rick.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of crazy that, I mean, but that's how it works, you know, like we go into something and then there's going to be, I mean, even after us, after all this is over, uh, other generations are going to talk about how their parents survived this pandemic, or, you know, or they
Or my
knew
kids.
somebody who had it, or, you know, yeah, it's going to be definitely different. But yeah, 28 Days Later was another good one. Um,
Yeah.
One that you kind of brought up when we were kind of figuring out the show was Planet of the Apes, which I didn't even think about really as a
Yeah.
pandemic. But yeah,
Just kind of coming out and kind of taking over. Um, yeah, it's just that change of the world. I mean, I was thinking about like going through everything, and I was even thinking that Shaun of the Dead is a pandemic movie.
yeah, no, it definitely. Shaun of the Dead, one of my favorite zombie
It is
movies
my
of
favorite.
all time. Dude, I remember when the movie came out when I was in high school, and I love every second of it. The comedy in it. But yeah, you're right. They wake up, they don't know what's going on. They even scoff at it. Like that's the thing I like
Yeah.
about it the most is they're like, ugh, whatever. Um, you know, and you get to see the changes of how, you know, he wakes up hungover, he goes to the store to try to get ice cream, and he doesn't even notice like the fact that nobody's there because he's too
Mm.
hungover. Like, you know,
Yeah.
those little things that people wouldn't think about.
Yeah. And I love it. Like I can't hear white lines without thinking of that movie.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like it
Uh,
changed that for me forever.
yeah, no, that movie had a lot of influence. I mean, everything about it. The music that comes out in that movie is phenomenal. One of my favorite scenes is when they have the zombies in the like their little backyard, and they don't
Hmm.
know what to do, and then he grabs his records, and they just
Oh
start
yeah.
throwing records at him. And he's just like uh, trying
That's
to
a good one.
find the ones he doesn't like. He's like, no, not that one, this one. Like, super funny.
Yeah, no, I think that movie is so well done in such like a way that you're just like, okay, I'd want to live in that apocalypse.
Oh, for sure. I think one of the things that's kind of crazy about it is they take on the idea of friend zoning like kind of head on in that movie.
Oh yeah. And would you okay, that just made me think about the what's the one where the zombie falls in love?
Oh, oh, hmm, like he's a zombie and the girl
Yeah.
ah
I
I
just
forgot. I totally
want
forgot about that movie. That was
like
interesting.
oh my gosh, that's gonna bug the crap. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, that one was interesting too because it has a love theme to it. And he
Oh,
was
with the redemption.
yeah, yeah.
And I don't know. I liked that there was different levels of zombie in
Yeah,
that
that
one.
was another one. The Were you a fan of Zombieland?
Yes.
I don't necessarily know if that does that count as a pandemic because I guess a pandemic of zombies.
I guess because I think zombie movies necessarily fall into the pandemic.
Yeah,
Warm Bodies.
Warm, but yes, yeah, yeah. I remember when that came out. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So no, but I think anything with zombies, because zombies are going to be like the next step of a pandemic,
Yeah,
I guess. In the traditional sense of one, it's something gets out and gets everybody sick, and that's just the variation of like even World War Z.
yeah. Was another movie that was like that was so good. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that was written by Mel Gibson, not Mel Gibson, Mel Brooks's son. If I'm not
I'm
mistaken,
not sure.
I believe the book was at least. I don't know if the screenplay was,
Okay.
but um,
I that movie, the scenes of them crawling up the walls,
yeah.
terrifying.
Oh yeah, no, that it was like such a. I love the fact that oh what's his oh I can't remember his name right now. Damn it, the main character.
Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt, yeah. I love the fact that Brad Pitt's character is just like at home, very normal, and
Yeah.
then they start noticing something happening, and then they get in the car, and then that's when things starts going kind of crazy. Like you get to see the very beginnings of it, and normally, like we kind of said earlier, it's always people like waking up in the midst of it, not
Yeah.
necessarily
Being able to
seeing
get ahead of
how.
it.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was really cool. I mean, even to the part when they are actually able to figure it out. Which I mean, the timeline for figuring out was kind of unbelievable because what it was like not even a month. I think he was
Mhm.
gone for like in a series of maybe 2 weeks total. I don't know. I could be wrong on the timeline, but it felt like it was like really fast. that he was like
Yeah,
kind
it
of.
felt really fast paced. But like, okay, so we're talking about all these zombie things because like it kind of naturally progresses from one to the other.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of thinking because like when I think of World War Z, I think it's like intense, but I don't think of it like as a horror movie. Like when you think
World
of like
War Z, I
Dawn of
definitely
the Dead,
didn't. Yeah, I exactly. I don't feel like
I
it's
think
as a
that
story.
like there's the same subject matter, but one seems more scientific. So it almost seems like you're going down this different path versus a horror movie where its pure intention is to scare you. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
now I'm like going through zombies in my head, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like Dawn of the Dead. But I'm like, I don't really consider that a pandemic, even though it's obviously the next phase of a pandemic, I guess.
But that's the thing is, it depends on the kind of zombies you're talking about. Not all zombies are necessarily associated with like disease.
I
You
think they
know,
all have to be.
no, some of them were like okay, like necromancers. They're people who
Okay,
bring back people from the dead. So it just depends on the kind of zombie that you're talking about. If it's from a disease, then
that's true.
yes. But
Okay,
if it's just like zombies reanimating themselves, it might not necessarily have a science background. It might be more mystical.
got it.
Like if you
That's
look
true.
at Evil Dead, it had like kind of zombies in it where the dead come back to life, and then they were like attacking them of sorts. So it just
Okay,
depends. Like and
true.
then you have to think about like mummies. Are mummies technically zombies because they come back from the dead, but then they're not coming back from
Mystical realm.
huh?
Put that in the more mystical
Yeah,
realm.
again that would be like a more mystical thing.
Yeah.
You know,
And I'm thinking of like Return of the Mummy.
which I mean, okay, I know this is kind of off subject a little bit, but I
Don't
was
ever do
really excited for the whole monster universe.
it. I
Like
mean,
I was thought it was really cool, and I finally watched the Mummy movie, the way that
hmm
Tom Cruise was in, and the only thing I didn't like about it is that they essentially made Tom Cruise into like a superhero at the end.
yeah.
Like he was like an anti-hero superhero kind of thing. He was like, I have the mummy powers, but I can never use them because then I will be the mummy. And he's just like riding his horse with his dead best friend, wrapped in like half mummy, half like super suit thing. And I was like, really? You guys could have like I don't know. It just felt too hokey. Like, and that was the only thing that felt bad about it because like I did like how the other mummy was like evil and like kind of going after him, and then when they brought in Doctor Jekyll, I'm spoiling a lot of stuff. I probably should have said spoilers. But when they brought back
And this is
Doctor
when
Jekyll,
everybody
Mister
stopped.
Hyde, like it really had this really in-depth kind of like extraordinary, the League of Extraordinary Men kind of vibe to it, and I was
Mhm.
kind of into it.
Okay.
So.
So monsters are gonna have to be a topic someday.
Yes, eventually.
Yes. Um, so is there any other movies or books that come to mind when you're thinking pandemic?
There was one show I was really into, which was called Helix. That show was all about which I wasn't sure. I thought it was just gonna be like a zombie show at first because
Mhm.
essentially it was about disease, and then they like had like a lab, a very like Resident Evil esque, where they had like a lab that a disease had gotten out, and there was an outbreak in this sealed off center. But then season two, they went ahead and did a second disease that was different, and that's where I was like, oh, I'm now like I was already liked the show and it was okay, but this to me is better that they're doing like different diseases. The only thing that I didn't really like was that they kind of like took some of the character. They would take the characters one way and then try to bring them back into a different way. I don't know. They got too complicated with like the story building.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So I know I brought up Walking Dead.
hmm
Um, but did you ever watch that one?
So I didn't really watch it.
Mhm.
I don't know. I have this thing where sometimes when people build something up too much, I just can't get into it.
I do the
Um,
same thing.
yeah, and so for me, I like know the story and I get like some of the major plot points that people have told me about, but yeah, it just wasn't a big one for me.
Okay. I watched it for the first couple seasons. I read some of the comic books.
Mhm.
I just got to a point, uh, and I know some people say so like when they're in the jail, and I lasted a little bit past that, and it almost got to a point where I felt like it was dragging.
That's what
So
a lot of
I'm
people
not
were
a fan of it,
saying.
and I won't say that.
Yeah, it just was like they were trying to play it out too much, and then
Mhm.
there's only so much you can do when the characters have to inevitably die.
Mhm.
So I think that's like the problem that they kind of had was like it's like
Yeah.
how do we keep this going? And then you have to introduce new characters because otherwise all your characters are it's gonna end. But I think it's another thing is like they're afraid of ending the show, and it's like, dude,
They can.
Arrow did a great job of getting all the points they needed so much with the character that the main guy was like, dude, what else are we gonna do? I've already come back basically from the dead. Like,
Mhm.
there's nothing else we can do. Like, sorry, but I like the fact that if you can give me a good ending, I would appreciate that almost than a longer show. So
Yeah. I know we talked about that with sci-fi, and that's one of my big things is when a show can end correctly.
yeah,
Uh, Another thing I wanted to bring up is so there's books about pandemics and kind of things
mm-hmm.
like that, and I know we've kind of talked about this a little bit. There's a book called Blindness, and they actually made it into the movie, but the movie was not as good, and it's definitely not the same route that we've been talking about where they go into that zombie. It's I think more pandemic in the traditional sense.
Okay.
Um, it's blindness as people get this illness, they lose their sight pretty much, and they just can't um, see anything, and it just slowly starts affecting the population. And some people just seem to be immune to it, and the whole story is between a husband and wife, where the husband loses his vision and the wife doesn't.
Oh,
And so it's kind of interesting because like she's telling you everything she's seeing, and the people that can't see anything.
yeah,
And of course, like during any pandemic, there's the people that try and take advantage of it and
yeah.
do harm. So that's kind of what the whole thing's about.
Cool.
Um,
Sounds
Really
interesting.
cool book. The movie was decent, but did not compare to the book. I think, like, well, in the case of most time. So,
Yeah, I mean the thing that sucks about that is like a book, you're taking your time reading it. You have literally as long as you need to visualize all the stuff, and you can put a lot more detail in than you can in a 2.5 hour movie.
well, and that not only that, but they tell you what the character is thinking sometimes, and like, or their inner thoughts, like the stuff you can't hear. And I don't think the most amazing actors can depict everything that's going on in a character's head that you can read out of a book. And
Yeah,
like their sub thoughts, or even like the subtle things that they might do that somebody could easily miss in a movie, unless you make it insanely obvious.
yeah. I mean, I have yet to see them, but you know what? I will say this about like for me, it's the Peter Tingle, right? The spider sense.
Okay.
Like that's a hard one to kind of put onto a movie to like for
Yeah.
people to see it. But I think in Spider-Man Far From Home did a
Mhm.
great job of being able to express what it's like for Peter to go through that. So
Yeah.
yeah, like same thing.
No, they're finding ways to do it to do, but like there's certain nuances that you're just not going to get from a
Hmm.
movie.
Yeah,
Like, even in video games, you can see like sometimes it'll tell you like the character's doing this or thinking this, and so it's like you get more subtext
hmm,
because you get to be the character.
yeah. I think
So
for me, animated movies are great because of that. You get essentially what's almost on the pages
mhm.
because you can put so much of that detail into it because it's animated. You can make whatever you really need.
Into the Spider-Verse, another example, because
Yeah.
same thing that they you know exactly what he's feeling when he gets the Spidey sense. So
Hmm.
um, just to kind of pull off your own.
Yeah.
Right. But is there any other like when it comes to pandemics? I kind of wish there was more pandemics that didn't necessarily result
In
in
Zombie.
yeah. I mean, but
Yeah.
you get things like that when we talk about like things like Contagion or Outbreak, and that's like the whole premise. Like Outbreak is I think the movie I was trying to tell you about the other day. I think that's the Dustin Hoffman one.
Hmm.
Hold on. So it came out in the 90s. It's Dustin Hoffman. Somebody brings a monkey to the United States, and an entire town in California um, starts dying off. And then it's pretty much like the government's response, and the whole thing's taking place from like the guy who's running the CDC side of things, and how much he's fighting with the government because they're trying to conceal things and stuff like that. So it's a really interesting movie, and I love Dustin Hoffman.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I agree with you. It'd be cool to see like pandemic movies that don't necessarily go around the idea of being a zombie. Oh, I did have one more actually. I just remember I forgot the name of the freaking movie though. We were arguing about it the other night. Oh, with
We do this
the
all the time.
I
We need
know.
to write down like
I
your
know,
little.
right? The movie where it was Zoe Deschanel with Mark Wahlberg, and the trees are like releasing some kind of like
You
contagion
know
that
what? I
makes
never even
people
looked
like.
up what the movie was called.
I know we were like too. I think we're being too stubborn about it, but
Love her.
That movie was like a pandemic movie because everybody was getting infected by this disease that inevitably was making people, I guess, just like kill each other. It was kind of weird, like going to like a rage that they couldn't control by being in big groups. Sounds kind of familiar.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Okay. Pandemic. No, that does not bring up anything.
No,
And who was it with it?
it was
Mark.
Mark Wahlberg and Zoe Deschanel, which was an interesting pair up.
The
Like I
happening.
never, huh?
The happening.
The Happening, yeah, that's the one. I never would have paired those two like together. They're so like different. But then again, I mean, okay, Zoe Deschanel I think has made an entire career on like I don't want to say like one character, but definitely very similar characteristics within her characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like
So,
I
okay,
mean,
I pulled up a list of movies.
cool.
I'm just saying because we've been not thinking of some.
That's fair.
Okay. Have you seen We Are the Walking Dead? Wait, that
Isn't
is
that just like it's such a
it's the
spin-off of Walking Dead, right?
this is the first thing that comes up when you look up pandemic movies on IMDb.
Of
So
course.
don't blame me, them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just so you know, I typed in pandemic and it says, do you want virus, deadly virus, COVID-19, health crisis, public health
Yeah.
epidemic, national emergency? The list goes on. I like this.
How many COVID-19 movies, like scary movies, do you think are going to come out after this?
I don't know, but apparently there's 641 that come up in the search already.
Jeez. Okay. So a lot.
How accurate that is, I'm gonna have to check that later.
Fair enough.
But okay, so okay, that one came up. Then Contagion.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not going to be a. Is that one a zombie one? I think it is. 12 Monkeys.
Never seen it.
Okay, neither have I. I'm skipping a couple. We already talked about World War Z. I Am Legend.
Sorry. Yeah, that was another really good one. I was thirsty. Another really good one. Super sad movie. Again, those zombies kind of.
But I mean, I'm just going down pandemic. This is the episode comes up.
Yeah, it's fair. I thought it was interesting that the zombies like cared about each other in a weird way.
Yeah.
Like there was one scene. I don't remember if it was a deleted. There is a deleted scene where like one zombie's trying to like help the other zombies or something. Like it shows that he cares about her, but I'm like that doesn't make sense. Like they're just trying to eat.
They just need food. Okay, next one that comes up is Maze Runner: The Death Curse, which
I never got into the Maze Runner movies.
I really like them, and I guess you don't realize it's a pandemic until you get to that point.
Oh, okay. I was like,
So
I thought it was more like about like class and stuff.
No,
No, I thought it was like Hunger Games pretty much, but like in a maze.
Yeah.
Like
So
instead of like going to like the
inspired-
games, they send them to a maze, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's them trying. The first one's them trying to get out of the maze. The second one's when they get out of the maze, and the third one's what happens with everything
After they get out of the maze.
After they're out of the maze.
After the maze. Okay.
Don't. Okay.
Why are all three called Maze Runners if there's only one maze in one book?
Because he is the Maze Runner.
Oh, okay. So like they show him a maze and he's just like this way, that way, and done.
Okay, the way you describe the movie is how I feel about another movie that we're not going to talk about at this moment.
Wow. Okay, whatever. You're lucky we're this pandemic week and not Lord of the Rings week, okay? You're lucky.
There you go.
You're lucky.
I'm so happy that you knew what I was thinking of.
You're so lucky. Because when that day comes, you're going to get a giant lecture for an entire episode.
The next movie is The Last Ship.
Oh, I'm thinking Ghost Ship.
That's not so much a pandemic other than ghost on a ship.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, if enough ghosts are on a ship, wouldn't that also be a pandemic of ghosts?
Nations.
Yes.
Maybe.
I don't think I watched The Last Ship.
I did not. Kingsman: The Golden Circle.
Oh, that is. I mean, I guess that technically is a pandemic.
I never would have classified it as a pandemic.
I would not have either. All I remember is that lady walked on knives and would just cut people's head off with her knife feet.
I feel like I drank during that movie because I don't remember that.
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson's assistant
Yeah.
She had like these like she was like a blade runner, like you know how the dudes when the amputees they get those like blades that they can run on.
I
She
don't
had
think we're talking about the same movie.
yeah, 100%. I will look this up because I know for like I'm pretty sure that's the movie.
He's not listed in the top, and he would be listed in the top.
The gold, yeah, he Samuel L. Jackson was the villain in that movie. You're talking about the wait, what movie was it again? Hold on.
Kingsman, The Golden Circle.
Yeah, Kings, man. He was the villain. He was the main dude. He had like a lisp. Kingsman Secrets. Oh, okay. Is the Golden Circle the second one?
I think so.
Because he's in the first one. The
Okay.
Golden. Oh, yeah. Okay. The Golden Circle. Okay, you're right. The Golden Circle is the first one, and he does have an assistant who has 9 feet. Okay. But the second one is. I mean, again, I don't necessarily would call it. Oh, I guess she like infects people, if I'm not mistaken. With maybe it is like a. You're right. I don't remember like really. I was more concentrated. There was like a giant betrayal in the movie, and I was more concentrated on that than the actual like what she was doing. Also, there's a really sad death in that movie where like one of the main characters like steps on like a mine bomb, like a mine, and then one of the other guys like pushes him out of the way and like freezes it and then steps on it so that way he's the one who dies. Really sad.
So the next movie is Children of Men.
You know what? Whatever. Whatever.
That one. I have not seen that one.
It's good, or it's okay. It's good if you're stoned.
Noted. Next after that is The Stand, which is amazing. I don't know why I didn't think about it.
Never seen it.
So good. It Comes at Night.
It does.
It always comes at night. Zoo.
You're just making up movies at this point.
I am. The Last of Us.
Oh, they made The Last of Us movie?
Yes.
I thought that was just a video game.
No.
I didn't realize they made a movie.
Oh, wait. It says 2013 video game. Wait, what?
Yeah, it's a video game. I know that they had thought about making a movie. I just don't think they ever actually did it.
I don't know why it's on IMDb.
Maybe it's considered a movie because it is like watching a movie, like when you're watching the whole thing. So maybe they consider it a movie because it's so cinematic.
The Fifth Wave. Did you see? No. I saw it. I remember liking it, but I don't remember any details about it.
Must have been a great movie.
I enjoyed it while I was there. Okay. The Girl with All the Gifts.
No. I
have not seen this one. Oh, this one even says like living in a dystopian future, which is my favorite of everything.
Oh.
Okay. Just saying. Resident Evil, the final chapter.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I mean, of course. We already talked a lot about Resident Evil. Okay, Cargo?
What?
Cargo?
No.
Nope. Carriers? That sounds like it'd be a pandemic.
It would. It does sound like a pandemic movie.
All right. Yeah, I'm kind of getting... There's a movie called Pandemic.
Of course there's.
Yep. Now I'm just concerned about so many things I'm seeing in here. People need to get out more, is what I've learned. Because we're coming up with weird shit. Okay, but is there anything else you'd like to add about pandemics?
No, I think we pretty much covered it all. Don't get sick. Wear a mask. Don't eat your friend. Wash your hands.
Don't be gross.
I don't think that's how zombies... I don't think you can avoid the zombie pandemic by washing your hands, but...
You know what? I hope...
case. Yeah.
Because then we'll know who's dirty as fuck.
It's true.
That's where we're at.
Yeah.
Okay. We have one last thing we're planning on doing, and it's kind of our kind of random end to sign off for the rest of the night. Frank, have you ever actually done the Harry Potter Find Your House quiz?
I have not done this specific one. However, when I went to the Warner Brothers lot tour last year, I sat on the chair and then had a sorting hat put on me, and he officially put me in as a Slytherin. So... I mean, if you want to be official about it.
Or was it random?
It might have been random.
Okay.
But it was more about the ceremony anyways. It's more about like how it like calls your name out and anything. So no, I don't like claim Slytherin or anything.
Okay, so you don't actually know what you are, so you can't give your prediction. I've taken this not I've taken this test. I've taken many tests, and I always gotten the same ones. So we're gonna see.
Ah,
It's
so
been
you're
years.
cheating, is what you're saying.
No, it's
You're
been years since
cheating.
I've taken this test.
Okay.
But I'm making students take this test. I told you.
Yes, you did tell me that.
So this test is important. So we're gonna see if I get the same one, but I don't know if I wanted to, if I should say it now or we should just see if I'll let you know if I get the.
Let's do it first, and then that way, if you get the same one, then cool. But if not, then you're surprised. Then everyone else is surprised.
Okay, so wait, so am I saying it yes or no?
No, don't say it.
Okay, so I will not say it. I will let you guys know. You guys can make your guesses now and see if you get it right. Frank, do you know anything about the houses?
I know snakes go, and I know ravens go caw, and that's about it.
Okay, so yep, you kind of got two right ish. Um, yeah, that's where we're going with that one.
That's all I got. I
Yeah.
don't really. I mean, I don't know enough of the traits that are of each house to be able to be like, oh yeah, this is gonna go this way.
Okay. So, like I said, it's been a really long time since I've taken this test, so I don't know how it's going to go. But you're going to be taking it on your phone. They're going
Yeah,
to get to watch me go through them, but we should be having the same questions, I'm assuming.
yeah, I would assume. I don't know. Let's find out.
We're doing this at thewizardingworld.com, so if that's the test you want to take.
I think it's my Wizarding World. Do you say the or
Oh,
my?
my
Yeah,
dot.
my.wizardingworld.com.
And
Shout
they,
out. Give us a sponsorship.
that'd be awesome. Okay, so we're going to start the sorting ceremony.
Okay.
Yeah. Would you pick dawn or dusk?
Oh, I didn't get that.
You didn't get that?
No, I got moon or stars.
Okay, then I think that's probably the same thing. Wait,
Oh,
what? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm gonna choose star. Or ooh, I'm gonna choose the moon.
Okay, I'm choosing dusk, which is the side with the stars.
Okay.
Okay. Now, there's four goblets placed in front of you. Which would you choose to drink?
Dude,
The
I
first
totally got a
one.
different question. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
Did
off.
you really?
Yeah.
What is your question?
Which nightmare would frighten you the most? Standing on top of something very high and realizing suddenly that there are no hand or footholds, nor any barriers to stop you from falling. Hold on. Being forced to speak in such a silly voice that hardly anyone can understand you and everyone laughs at you. Waking up to find that neither your friends nor your family have any idea who you are. That's my favorite choice. That's not a nightmare. That's
Okay,
that's my
I
dream.
almost want to just do this as one of us because I guess what happens is when you answer something, it's going to change your next question.
Yeah. So okay. So yeah, you do yours. I'll do mine,
Okay,
and we can just say our
okay.
answers at the end.
So coming along, I guess, with me. So between this one, do I want thick? Okay, apparently not that one. I don't want something that's going to make me see strange visions. Um, diamonds sound nice. Okay, let's see. And hurts eyes. I'm kind of against that. I'm going to go with diamonds on this one. And I hit the wrong button, is what I just learned. Okay. So if I could choose any power to read minds, to change the past, the power of invisibility, speak to animals, human strength, and change appearance at will, I'm gonna go with power of invisibility because it makes me think of the cloak. Frank, how much are you up to date on Harry Potter news?
Um, Not very.
Okay, so other than that there's ravens and snakes
Yeah, and Gryffindors,
and
Griffins,
Gryffindor.
and Griffins, and I don't know what a Hufflepuff is, but
It's a badger.
ah, well, I know what that is because they taught people how to earthbend. What up?
I'm gonna ignore that statement for a second. Okay,
Wow,
so I'm getting the nightmare one now.
weird.
Hmm. That one sounds awful. Um.
What's parchment? Like
Paper.
paper?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm. Oh, this got deep. Okay, which one do I feel the most difficult to deal with? Oh, I hate being cold.
That's every girl answer.
You know what? I hate your face. Being ignored. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go over here. Why am I suddenly scared to get this result?
Oh,
Let me know when you're here.
almost.
So wait, do you not want Slytherin?
I don't really know. I don't really care. I mean, I'd be down.
Okay. Is there a house you don't want?
Yeah, like either Ravenclaw or Hufflepuff. Losers.
What do you know about either one?
I don't know. I just know they're dorky as shit. Like, not that there's a problem with that, because obviously I am. But like, I don't know. Not like
Just disowned your own people.
no. There's a difference. Like, you know, I also played football for a long time, so I got a little bit of a jock streak in me. So I want like more of like the outgoing houses.
I was physically athletic at one point also. Doesn't want mean I want to be associated with that only.
Not only, but I'm just saying, like, it'd be nice to be like, you know,
Mm-hmm. Waiting, waiting. It's gonna be very dramatic over here.
hmm,
Also, I'm really sad that it's not the same questions, but then also kind of more intrigued by
okay.
it.
I think okay. I'm where you are. Ready?
Okay, you ready?
All right, and go.
I have never gotten this one before.
Oh, I got Gryffindor. Hell yeah, I knew it.
I have never gotten Hufflepuff before. I've always gotten
Really?
Ravenclaw. Yeah.
Oh, oh,
But I like what Hufflepuff has. Dedication, patience, loyalty. I think those are all really good traits.
yeah. Plus Hermione Granger's in my house, so I got a shot now.
No, you don't.
Oh,
Neville Longbottom had a better shot when he was ugly.
wow, so rude, so rude.
Okay, I am so, and I'm okay because I am excited for these ones. They're all cool Hufflepuffs.
Oh, that's true. I do like Tonks. She was cool.
Yeah, and Cedric
I mean, I guess.
and Newt. You
I
haven't seen those ones.
I know who Cedric is. Are you kidding me?
No, I said you haven't seen Newt.
Oh yeah, that I don't know who that is.
That is so funny. I have every single time I've ever taken this have gotten Ravenclaw. So I guess both the nerd houses, according to you.
Yeah, I got the house I wanted. I'm pretty happy.
I feel like you did not take it honestly, and you're like Gryffindor would answer like this. Gryffindor would answer
So
like
oh, so you okay? No, I didn't. I mean,
this.
I know. I hold on. I did take it honestly, but I
Uh-huh.
didn't like take it with the intention of like getting a specific house.
No,
What
you
house?
did.
Okay, what house would you put me in, considering that you know the universe so well?
No, probably Gryffindor.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I freaking thought.
I know, but it's funny because yeah, I've always said like my two favorites for me personally are Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff.
Uh huh.
Completely okay with this, but yeah, this is the first time that I've ever gotten anything that wasn't Ravenclaw, like in every test I've ever taken.
Oh,
But I
that's
have
funny.
that they're like, yeah, you kind of bounce between two houses, I guess.
Well,
Okay,
that's cool.
so I'm gonna stop this. So
Oh,
we are not done. We've talked about the PS5. We talked about the new Star Wars. We talked about Nicolas Cage more so than Joe Exotic. Just realizing, but I mean, comparatively, he's a national treasure. And then we definitely talked about pandemics and going down that path. Still have Harry Potter. Is there anything like, because you're still kind of pretty new into all of Harry Potter, still kind of comparatively.
yeah. I'm still. I mean, I was a fan of the books, and I mean, I read up until Order of the Phoenix, and
Okay.
then I pretty much stopped reading. I just not that I wasn't still interested. I think I just had other things going on at the time when they were coming out, so I didn't continue reading. But I mean, the movies were cool. I will say, I did taper off. Like, even though I was excited about the last two movies, I did kind of taper off a little bit towards the end. I think,
Mm.
I don't know. I think I don't want to say I outgrew them because I still think they're pretty cool. I think just the story of I wanted more from it. I want them to explore more, um, and create more of a universe, create different stories, do more. And like again, like I told you the other night, I really want them to do like an origin story of like the houses and how the school became a thing and like
You need to still watch Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I think that would kind of it gives you more information too, and it was really
yeah. I mean, I definitely want to watch it. I just have to. I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it now that I have a lot of free time.
so there's that. We want an orange story. There's still the play The Cursed Son, which I haven't read. It's on my list to do eventually. Uh, but I mean, can't really see it either unless I think you can download it now on YouTube. I don't know. But lots of things going on. I am the mom of a Hufflepuff and a Slytherin. So Harry Potter's pretty big in my house. Doing okay?
Um, I can't hear you right now because my microphone isn't working.
Oh
Sorry,
no.
technical.
When
Oh,
did
I can hear you in one ear now.
when did it cut? Was it your headphones
Yeah,
or?
no, my microphone, unfortunately, like where you plug in the headphones, I
Mhm.
think the like where that part has like become unsoldered, and
Oh,
so sometimes usually it's pretty good, but I think because I've been using it a lot more, it's not working as well. So I'm gonna have to get that fixed.
okay.
So yeah,
But not everything at the end, or
I just like after I stopped talking, and then I heard you talk about Fantastic Beasts a little bit, and then that was it.
okay. Well,
Yeah,
see what happens. I don't know. Um, well, it's kind of all we have for our first episode. It's been a lot of fun. Any
yeah.
closing?
I had a great time talking about the stuff that I wonder about all the time. So definitely, guys, please, if you enjoyed the show, share it with your friends, tell more people about it. We're going to have more episodes. We're going to be doing these bi-weekly.
Yeah.
So every other week, you can check out a new episode. Please follow us on Instagram at The Reckless Nerd. Pretty much that's our handle everywhere.
Reckless Nerd or Reckless Nerd podcast, I
Yeah.
think.
It's either The Reckless Nerd or at The Reckless Nerd Podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping you guys listen for my birthday today because that would be a great treat.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Yay, thank you. I know I mean I'd throw that in there. Send pastrami.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for listening. Catch you guys on the next one.
Bye.